The weekly transit.
Astrology is a language that communicates how the planets and stars influence life on Earth. I'm Scott Tajarian. I'm an interpreter of this language. Join me and my co-host Ingrid Iverson, who helps bring an even more practical look at this astral language. The weekly transit is here to bring clarity to the chaos, so you can ride the planetary waves instead of the planets riding you.
The weekly transit.
Good morning, Scott.
Hi, Ingrid. Ingrid, is that who I'm talking to? I don't recognize you.
Oh, with these lashes?
Yes.
I know, they're pretty crazy. They are crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I woke up like this.
Wow. You're very glamorous.
I know, it's really fun. I'm scared that I'm just immediately addicted.
To what?
To the eyelashes.
To the eyelashes? Yeah, or I was going to think like all things like beauty type stuff. I mean, you're already into the nails. So the lashes are the next thing. Then it's the collagen in the lips, the Botox, the fake boobs, the BBL.
No. No BBL for me. I don't really feel compelled to do any of that stuff, but I mean, I like wearing mascara, but it's just annoying. And then I like rub my eye. Like I used to wear it all the time. And then I met this girl actually I worked with that I just thought she was gorgeous and she never wore any fucking makeup. And I was like, oh my God, this bitch is over here with like a fresh face, just like killing it. I'm like, she's not wearing any mascara. And I kind of like stopped wearing mascara. Like maybe if I go on like out on the town or something, I'm like, okay, that's fun. But for the most part, I don't really wear it anymore. But I just thought I've always wanted to try it because I like nails because they're just there. Mm-hmm. You don't have to do them every day. Like, I don't really like getting ready. I mean, I don't mind getting ready, but I'm not the kind of person who spends like 2 hours. I've got an hour to take a shower, shave, wash my hair, dry my hair, do my makeup. Like, I really want to be done in that hour. Yeah. So anything more than that, like eyelashes, I don't know. So I thought it would be fun to have something extra that I don't have to do all the time.
Very nice.
It does feel glamorous. I like woke up, my eyes are all puffy, but you can't even tell because I'm just like, oh my God, these lashes just cover everything up. You do feel very glamorous.
Good.
What's her name? Janine. Janine was asking, I posted something on Instagram about the lash situation and she was like, oh my gosh, that's very like Libra Venus, right? Yeah. So anyways, I thought maybe you could weigh in if these lashes are part of my chart where they are connecting.
Yeah. Well, Venus is in Libra for you. So you love all things beautiful. You want to look beautiful. You want to be around beautiful people. And you love beauty.
One of my friends, she is a Capricorn, Megan. I feel like she collects beautiful people, seriously. Like all of her friends are like hot. It's like a thing.
I love it. Now that makes me want to look up I can't remember where's Megan's moon.
Wait, can I guess?
Guess.
Pisces?
No.
Or no, Scorpio.
Yes. She's 7th house, though, which is associated with the 7th sign, which is Libra. So she's like a Libra, Scorpio, Venus. And then her Mars is in Libra, too. And she's a Taurus rising, so that's why beauty's a thing, because Mars is in the sign that's ruled by Venus. Venus is in the house that's ruled by Venus, and her ascendant is also ruled by Venus.
So it's like taking action in the beautiful world, like doing things.
She is motivated to bring beautiful people into her life.
And she loves all things beauty, like all of the face products, the hair product, like all of the things. She's got the massager for her face, the steamer, she has a whole routine. She has like a light thing, a red mask. And she likes to share it with everyone. Like if it's someone's birthday, she's like, okay, I'm gonna need to get them a steamer or like a fridge for their makeup or anything beauty related.
Wow. That's a lot. A fridge for the makeup. That's interesting.
And then even my
Yeah.
friend Erica, she is also a Capricorn.
Yes.
And she's not so extra with it all, but she makes like tinctures and salves, and she likes to spend her money on beautiful items. She's not like wasteful with it. She's very intentional. Like she'll buy a really nice piece of clothing, but it's something that will last. She wants it to be sustainable from like a local person. She wants like
It's quality.
yeah, very, very quality. Her skincare thing, she doesn't buy a ton of it, but she's like, oh, I need one serum and it's going to be the best fucking thing ever. Some bee made it on a farm, like from the earth type of shit, but like
Yes.
very luxurious.
Yes.
She's never afraid to spend on, yeah, anything aesthetic.
It's so interesting when you look at like Venus and how that affects your aesthetics and your style. And it reminds me that I wanted to mention that I did another show of Epiphany with Tiffany.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. And so it's out this week. It's a really fun conversation. We were talking about different couples like Will and Jada, but we're looking at their charts and where they fit, where they flow, and where they're challenged. We also looked at J-Lo and Ben, and so it was just all about that. And Epiphany with Tiffany. Tiffany, she's a stylist, but she uses astrology and energetics to help style her clients. And so, such a fun conversation. I love talking with her, and I love talking about celebrity couples.
I know.
And
If anyone doesn't
and
know,
astrology.
we don't talk about this a lot on the podcast because it's not that I'm not interested. I just really don't know pop culture, but Scott is very into all the celebrities. He's into history. And if you have any questions about that stuff, he is always talking about it on Instagram, or you can ask him. Maybe we can talk about it on here. Anything to do with celebrity shit, he's all over it. That's kind of where he got started in astrology in a way, is researching all of these public figures because he has access to so much information about them.
Yes.
And
yeah.
it is really fun.
I was like, when I was a kid, I would go to the salon with my mom and
All the
sit
gossip?
there. Yeah. I love being around all the women talking at once with getting their hair done or their nails done or whatever. And I'd be sitting there reading all the tabloids that were strewn about in like the waiting area.
My cousin Heather, she would love to talk to you about all that stuff because she's like, her and my aunt Scott has done both of their charts, of course. Oh yeah, my Aunt Michelle said to say hi. She called me this morning.
Hi, Aunt Michelle. Great to think about you. Thank you for thinking of me.
Yeah, but my cousin Heather's her daughter. She's growing up. My Aunt Michelle would take her to like all the radio stations. My cousin would do Britney Spears impressions. She loved Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, all of the boy band shit. And my aunt would go with her, who's an amazing singer.
Oh,
is that in her chart? Yeah, she's a really good singer. She was in a band when she was younger with
Michelle.
But they would do like competitions together on the radio and win tickets and win
Mother-daughter sing-along or something?
Yeah, my aunt is down for anything. She's out of control. She's just super fun. And yeah, they would win tickets to meet and greets, all kinds of fun shit. And my cousin also loves to perform.
Yes, and your cousin's Heather.
Yeah. But Heather's really into all of the gossip. She's kind of in the production world, and she's in like the tween, what is it, like young adult film world, and she's into all that stuff. I don't know where that falls in their charts, but
well, they're both ninth house suns, and the ninth house and your aunt. Let's see, Michelle.
And before we go into this further, I just want to tell anyone that's listening, if you don't give a shit about all of the gossip that we have beforehand, if you just want to know the planets and stars, if you go to the show notes, you just scroll down and there'll be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We talk about each day of the week, what's happening in the planets and stars, how I incorporate Scott's advice into my life. But that's just more strictly the astrology. So if this is boring, I don't know. I think this is the fun part. But
I love it.
And even if you still want to hear this, if you want to go back later in the week, it's really convenient to be able to do that. Just click on each day. Whenever I'm having a bad day, I don't always look when I'm having a good day, but certainly when I'm not having a good day, I'll just go to the episode and be like, oh shit, it's Thursday. What the fuck is happening Thursday in the planets?
Yes. Well, so, and I've been doing these posts on Instagram and TikTok where I'm highlighting different public figures that all share the same moon sign. Eventually I'll move on to rising sign and sun sign and all that kind of stuff. People are like, what about the men? I was like, okay, well, let me finish the women first, ladies first, and then I'll do the men. But so Aunt Michelle is a Sagittarius moon. And if you look at who the Sagittarius moon people are, go to the Instagram or TikTok and look that up, you'll see that these singers, these are the ones that can hit the high notes because it's ruled by Jupiter. And Jupiter's that symbol that it's across the matter with the crescent of receptivity pointed out. If you have the book, you know that, the basics of astrology. It's you pull back, it's the archer, pull back on that bow and let the arrow fly. So that they're literally, these are the people that can hit the high notes.
Okay, I'm gonna have to ask her. She has a very low voice, but that doesn't mean she can't hit high notes, right?
Okay, here's the other thing. She's Capricorn. So Heather is Capricorn moon, 9th house, so it's like a Sagittarius Capricorn thing going on there. So she might be able to hit high notes, but both of them have that earthy tone. Michelle's also a Taurus rising, so that also brings the vocals to that lower register. So if you look at the people who are Capricorn moons, they're also people that can hit those lower tones. Like Cher's one that comes to mind.
Okay.
She's a Capricorn moon. I can't think of them all off the top of my head, but go to the Instagram or TikTok and look at who the Capricorn moons and the Sagittarius moons are and think about their voices and do they match? The earth people, do they have those lower tones, those earthier tones? Do the Sagittarius, the archer, flying that arrow high in the sky, those are the people that generally can hit those higher notes.
And another thing about my aunt, she's going on her first trip out of the country. She's going to Ireland, Scotland. My cousin, anyways, she's going over there with my cousin. This is their first trip together.
Wow.
They're going for, I think, 10 days.
Cool.
And so
my Michelle and Heather.
Yeah, Michelle and Heather are going together, which they don't ever spend that much time together. They're both very excited, but a little nervous because they fight all the time. But Heather really wanted to do something nice for her mom because she's never gotten to travel. So there's a wedding out there and she's bringing her. But you just said she's a Sagittarius. My aunt is a Sagittarius moon. So that would be really fulfilling for her to go exploring and adventuring. So I'm so excited. I feel like this will fulfill her in a way she's never gotten to experience.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sagittarius moon, 9th house sun. That's Sagittarius. 9th house is associated with the 9th sign. Of course, if you have the basics of astrology.
Wait. Okay. I'm going to grab the book because I want to show everyone. I got a whole bunch of them in the mail.
Yeah. So yes, if you have the book, The Basics of Astrology, then you would know that the 9th house is associated with the 9th sign, which is Sagittarius. So that's, if you have a planet in the 9th house, then it's similar energy to the Sagittarius energy. So Michelle's a 9th house sun, which makes her like a Sagittarius, even though she's also a Sagittarius moon. Heather is also a 9th house sun and a 9th house moon, sun and moon. So that long distance travel, hitting the high notes. It's interesting that she would dress up like Britney Spears. Is that, Because Britney's an Aquarius moon. Britney's an Aquarius moon and Heather's an Aquarius sun.
Oh, really?
So they have kind of that reflection.
Yeah, she used to do I don't know if they call it impersonations or whatever. She would go to events and sing like her and dress like her. And now she's I think she's going to be 39. And there was a Britney Spears thing last year in LA. They'll have pop-up events where it's everything, all of the music video scenes of Britney. She got there and people were dressed up and she ran home. She was like, oh my God, I have all the outfits. She went home and But her stories ever was like her in every single like music video. She knows all the dances. It was like a highlight for me to just see her like doing all this stuff. I just remember it from my childhood, but she's still all in.
Oh my God, I love it.
So she's like all of the gossip. She wants it.
I love it. That is, I want to see something else real quick. Where's Brittany's?
And while you're looking that
yeah.
up, if you don't have the basics of astrology, I don't know if we've ever really put it all together. It's just been an evolution, but this podcast is meant to help people learn astrology by basically Scott teaching me and me just sharing with you guys how I incorporate it into my life. I helped Scott write a book last year. I did some designing and editing. He had this idea of birthing this project into the world. So we've been working on it for a year. We got it as a PDF, then we got it on the Amazon Kindle. Now we have a paperback copy. This book has definitely, just the evolution of it has really helped me learn astrology. I feel like I'm like a baby astrologer now, like for real, instead of just knowing things here and there. I know all the signs. I know all the symbols. We have slides that come up on the screen. If you're watching YouTube or Spotify, there's the video that goes along with it. If you haven't seen our beautiful faces, we are, on either of those platforms, you can get the book. So really the idea is to get the book. Also go to the website. There's a blog page. It's called Forecast. It's really just to be paired along with the podcast. So you listen, and all the questions that Scott asks me on there are typed out for you so you can revisit them later in the week. And then if you're missing anything, if you have the astrology book, you can just use it as a glossary to follow along. So I highly recommend going to the website, following the blog, getting the book if you're serious about incorporating more of this into your everyday life, because not that you can't just listen to it here and incorporate it, but when you have the questions to reflect on and then just be able to go look at the alignment sometimes without even having to listen to anything, that's where I feel like I've learned the most. I'm just looking at Monday, September 26th. I have the slide in front of me that's on the website. It's on the YouTube video. It's on the Spotify. When you're looking at that, I can just get a feel for what's happening in that day without even Scott having to tell me what's going on. So I'm super proud of myself for learning more. I'm super proud of you, Scott, for just putting it in a way that's digestible, because I have a ton of astrology books. My former partner's grandma was an astrologer. I was so excited. I got all her books when she passed away, but like some of them I can read, but the idea of actually learning how to read a chart is just so foreign. And I don't know, I'm just feel very excited to finally have all these copies here. It's been on Amazon, but now we have some in our hands to take to some local bookshops.
Yes. I'm excited about this, and the reason why I wrote this book is to really help people learn astrology the way that I learned it myself. Somebody had asked on one of the questions, like, who did you learn from? And like, nobody. I mean, what did I do? I mean, I just looked
Googled it.
I went to, I Googled a lot of things. I didn't study with any person. I'm somebody who just kind of does things on their own. I like to kind of learn on my own. I went to astro.com and I started looking at all the different celebrities that were on there and their charts, and I just tried to figure out what that all meant. And I'm a very visual learner. And so the more that I looked at the symbols and I saw this symbol in this box with this symbol next to this symbol and this color and that sort of stuff, and then I started drawing my own charts, and that really helped me connect in my mind. Like, I need to see the apple, not just hear the word, or see the red light or the stop sign or the green light, or I need to see it. The word doesn't really do a lot for me.
And you making this, Scott has been telling me for years now to learn the symbols, learn the signs, and I'm just like, fuck, I literally can't. I can't process this. I can't do it. It's too much. I never thought that I would learn the language that he's always talking about, the language of astrology. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why do you keep calling it a language? Just like, tell me what the fuck I need to do to change my life, which, when you get a reading with Scott, it's more of him just telling you how to work with the energy. But if you really want to learn it for yourself, the book was just, it changed my life. Actually learning the language of astrology really has been fun. So I just,
And Ingrid and Chris helped me bring this to life, But these shapes, these symbols, these different colors, the colors also help speak to me what these different things mean. It's like blue. Blue is water.
I mean, when I look at it here, I'm just looking, I see earth connection. All I just do is see green connection. I know, like, I already know what's happening a little bit before we even look at the symbols.
Exactly. So, yeah, I love it. I'm excited. We've gotten a lot of good feedback from people that have gotten the book. So it's just to help you learn to do this on your own. Learn to understand what these symbols mean. So in thinking about Heather and Brittany, Heather being the Brittany impersonator, it's interesting because Brittany's a Sagittarius sun, and then Heather's a ninth house sun, which is associated with the ninth sign, which is Sagittarius. And then she's an Aquarius sun, and Brittany's an Aquarius moon. And then Brittany's a third house sun, and the third house is associated with the third sign, which is Gemini. And that's Heather's rising sign. So you can see the threads between the two of them and why she would do a good job as a Brittany impersonator. Similarities astrologically.
Well, shall we
get into the week?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. But let's thank our sponsors, of course, first.
Yes, please.
Thank our sponsors for sponsoring this show. Larry, Deborah, Haley, Libby, Abby, Clarissa, Janine, Ricky, Amaranth, Vincent and Michelle, Catherine, Brenna, Stephanie, Grace, Lori, Carrie, Annie, Brooke, Joanne, and Amber.
Thank you all so much for donating to the podcast. It helps us spend more time doing what we love, sharing the planets and stars with you. And if you would also like to donate, if this podcast is helping you navigate life more gracefully, you can go to the show notes. There's a link to support. You can donate $1, $5, or $10 monthly, and that makes us feel loved and appreciated. So thank you all so much.
Thank you. All right, Monday. This is the week of September 26th through October 2nd, and Monday, September 26th. So this is what we're looking at here. You can see the chart, Ingrid, having the basics of astrology. The book helps you decode what is going on here. There's a lot happening here. We're looking at 5 different symbols in 4 different signs. Let's start off with the simplest one. That's going to be the sun, the planet of vitality, light, and life in the cardinal air sign, symbolized by the scales, Libra, opposing Jupiter, the planet that we were mentioning earlier, the planet of luck and expansion, the god of thunder, lord of justice, transiting through the cardinal fire sign, retrograde, symbolized by the ram, Aries. So Jupiter opposite the sun. The sun's in Libra. That's relationships. Jupiter's in Aries. That's authenticity, self-love. This is who you are. Jupiter's expanding our self-confidence, or maybe expanding your insecurities. Now that expansion is being taken into your relationships. So what are you hiding from in your relationships that needs to be shown? Is there something that you would like to share or show to your partner, your lover, your friend, your business partner that they need to know about you? Is there something that needs to be shared that's going to create greater balance and fairness and equanimity? Because Jupiter's the Lord of Justice. It's the hammer of the gods. Thor is what Jupiter is. Roman is Jupiter. Thor is Old Norse. And the hammer of the gods, that's the gavel. And then you've got on the other side the scales of justice. So how can you make things more fair? How can you make your relationships more fair, more equal?
Well, I guess by communicating about it is the
You got
first
to tell
step.
you got to tell the person what you want or what you need, and they got to tell you what they want.
And it's an opposition, so it can be slightly uncomfortable to be doing these things. So that doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be a cakewalk, but
could be challenging.
but just opening up, communicating so you can actually expand those relationships. Otherwise, they're going to stay small and they're going to feel like crunchy.
Yeah, and it's like, this is not going anywhere. If your relationship feels like it's not going anywhere, this is that alignment that is helping you really see the future, see the possibilities. It may be difficult, like Ingrid said, to actually move forward.
Well, because if you share something and you guys don't align, maybe that person isn't going to be in your future. It's like talking about the future goals. And if you don't align together, then that's kind of out of the question.
Right.
But also, if you do align, then you can be moving in the right direction together. So it's kind of, it could be maybe having some people fall away, but also it can be bringing you closer to your goals and your dreams.
Yes.
And then you said it was in retrograde.
Jupiter.
So
yeah.
maybe we've already felt this, we've experienced this, and it did not go well once before.
Yes.
And then now is kind of like a take two where we're like, okay, I'm scared because the last time it went horribly, but instead of getting caught up in the fear of last time it was fucked up, so I don't want to do it again. I don't want to have this discomfort or this argument or this pain or rejection. Knowing that you already did it once, you can learn from that. And then this time we can do it a little more gracefully. We have Libra there. It's the scales,
Yes.
balance, grace. So tapping into that, learning from your mistakes and trying it again, being a little more gentle this time.
Yes. I love that. How can I be more graceful, peaceful? Then we've got Venus, Lady Luck, the goddess of love and beauty, the planet of relationships, transiting through Virgo, the mutable earth sign symbolized by the Virgin, conjunct, meaning it's at the same degree in the same sign as Mercury, messenger of the gods, guide of souls to the underworld, the planet of consciousness, communication, and coordination, which is also in Virgo. Retrograde. Mercury's retrograde, Venus is direct. So they're like two ships in the night passing each other. But today they're They're at the same degree. They're connecting in that conjunction, and they're forming each a trine, which is a supportive aspect. Of course, these alignments, they're all in the book. Trine with Pluto, the god of death, lord of the underworld, the planet of transformation, in the cardinal earth sign symbolized by the goat, Capricorn. So this is where the real changes come into fruition. It's like you're saying what you need to say, you're being authentic, but you're being graceful about it. But in order for it to come to fruition, it's got to materialize in reality. And that's what these three planets in earth signs are helping you do. They're helping you slow down with the communication and really think about how to say what you need to say in a way that is easily digestible for the other person. Is there something that you need to change about yourself in communicating so that it is easily digestible for the other person? Or maybe it's not even, it's eliminating some of the things that you wanted to say, because in order to be graceful, you might have to say some things, or you might have to omit some things that you actually want to say. Like you want to tell this person certain things, but if you do, it's going to blow it up.
Virgo is there, which is the critic. So it's like you have some shit you need to say. Maybe it's a critique or someone is critiquing you, but you need to be organized about it. Pare it down. Don't give them 100 bullet points. It's like, this is the thing that's bothering me. Sum it all up, be succinct, and that's going to allow you to put something on the scales gracefully. You can't just dump a bunch of shit on there because that person's not going to fucking take it well. It's like, okay, gather your thoughts, be mindful about it, go slow, and then put it on there nicely and see what happens. And even when you're thinking like the other way around, maybe someone's trying to critique you and you're just like, dude, can you just gather your thoughts for a minute and really just sum up what the main issue, what is the issue? Because you have all these lingering things. Maybe it's the toothpaste tube. Maybe it's the shoes next to the door. What is it? Really, the thing is, oh, I feel like you aren't respectful of my space. Or something like this. Like, how do we sum up everything that's bothering us into one thing to be able to share that like emotion with somebody? So Pluto's the god of death and transformation. Yeah. So letting that part of yourself that's just scattered and all over the place. Letting that die away, doing it in a new way, collecting yourself, doing it gracefully, doing it succinctly, and maybe also teaching your partner how to do that as well. Just like being curious about it and not being mean, but being like, hey, this is too much for me to digest. Can we just like pick a couple things or like one thing? Like in therapy, once the lady was like, I went to a couples therapist and she was like, oh, it was like all these house things, these dumb fucking house things where I'm like, the sponge is always wet. You don't squeeze out the water and the shower curtain is open and that makes me mad. And she was like, okay, you guys can make a list of all of your 10 major gripes. You each get to pick 3. You get to pick 3 to share and shut the fuck up about the rest of them because they all don't matter. You know, it's all the little things, but it's like pick a couple and stick with that. And, you know, people can, and then, you know, pick 3 and then one you can't, that you won't budge on. And the other person can have like a veto one also where they're like, I'm sorry, I'm always going to leave my shoes next to the door.
Yeah.
So just, yeah. Pick your battles. Pick your battles.
And it's also about like what's at the root of all of them, because they're all rooted in the same area, probably.
Yeah.
So that's something to think about. And especially with Pluto, Lord of the Underworld, connecting to Mercury, Guide of Souls to the Underworld. It's like what's going on beneath the surface with you that's causing this issue.
I peaked at Tuesday and I feel like it's a perfect like tie-in to
All right,
some levity happening the next day.
Let's move on to Tuesday, September 27th. And levity, yes, we're looking at 2 planets in 2 air signs. We've got Mars, the god of war, the planet of action, aggression, and conflict in the mutable air sign, symbolized by the twins, Gemini, forming a supportive trine with Saturn, the god of wealth and time, the planet of restriction, responsibility, authority, and achievement in the fixed air sign, symbolized by the water bearer, which Saturn rules, Aquarius. So, action and authority, it's having the courage. You know, Mars in Gemini, this is the planet of courage in the sign of communication, having the courage to communicate. Do you have the courage to communicate with your community? Do you have the courage to ask the authority the questions that you need to ask in order to receive the answers that you're looking for? Do you have the courage to listen to the authority?
I mean, both of those are so hard. The courage to ask a question that you're not sure you want the answer to, and also to receive.
Yes, to actually sit there and listen to the answer to the question.
Yeah, it's scary. Both of those feel very scary. So today is like an opportunity. Maybe yesterday you've decided how you can communicate differently, and then today you're really practicing it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So it's like shifting. Yeah. Yesterday was like shifting the energy, and then today is like putting it into that flow.
Yeah, maybe it was a little bit of practice, and now you're like going full force. You're just doing it in all of your communication now.
Yes. Awesome. Okay, Wednesday, September 28th. The moon, the planet of emotions, in the fixed water sign, symbolized by the Scorpio, opposing the North Node, the soul's purpose, the karmic pathway of the soul, in the fixed earth sign, symbolized by the bull, Taurus. So, the planet of emotions in the deepest, darkest, most passionate sign, opposing the soul's purpose in Taurus. These are the 2 signs that represent money. Taurus is my money. Scorpio is the money that I share with other people, the intimacy, the energy, the power that I share with other people. So this week has been a lot about relationships and communication. Wednesday, I feel like it gets deeper. Maybe we're going into some dark areas. There's some feelings that I've been having that I've been hiding from. Maybe I've been hiding from them myself, or maybe I'm hiding them from the person that I'm deeply tied to.
Yeah.
But there's something here that is calling you to really express what you value, your self-worth, what you value in the other person, what you need from them. Is the energetic exchange fair? Do I feel lifted? Do you feel lifted after we engage?
For me, this feels like a reflective day to really just be thinking about, like you said, self-worth. Like that also goes into the deep, dark corners of your mind. It's just like your emotions can feel very deep. Are you really like, do the people that you're bonded with, do they know your worth? And are you letting them know when things are not aligning?
Yeah.
Maybe not expressing it, but really just sitting and kind of, going deep. You can't always go deep while you're like, getting it out and talking to somebody. So really kind of taking stock of what might be hiding.
Yes. Yes. And maybe it's you asking the person that you're with, like, are you hiding something from me?
Yeah.
Like, is there
What's
is there
wrong?
something that, like, I'm afraid to hear the answer, but I'm also feeling very uncomfortable that something's off here, and I sense it. Scorpio's the psychic sign, so it might not be spoken, but it's certainly felt.
Yeah, I mean, when we pass up on days like this, that's when there can be big explosions later, because you're like, instead of being like, hey, something's off, you want to talk about it, like what's going on? When we bypass this and it goes unanswered, that's when like these bigger issues happen, and then there can be like really big breaks in our relationships. These karmic bonds can only sustain so much if we're not doing the work in the middle, which I'm learning more and more. Like you said the other day, like friendships are marriages. And they really, all of your relationships are marriages. And if we're not getting out the little things, it becomes like a big thing later. So not holding on to things, expressing yourself more, even though it's like you can like build on it. It's like, oh, I know this relationship can sustain some discomfort, and it's not going to disappear. We're not going to not be friends. We're not going to not be business partners. I'm having an issue. You're having an issue, something, and we know we can come to the other person, but it's like you have to take baby steps. And when we do these, then we're like, oh, I'm having a problem. I can just say it and then we can fix it instead of it like lingering forever and then there becoming a big fracture.
Yes. Well, and Scorpio's the sign of death and transformation. So, but it's also fixed. So it like doesn't want to transform.
It's like, so we got to keep doing things this way. It's too scary.
Exactly. So either the transformation occurs through something being said and you're able to work through it and transform together, or it ends the relationship and you have to transform apart, maybe because nothing was said, and so it fractures, like you were saying, it breaks apart. But Thursday, September 29th, help is on the way as Venus returns to the sign that she rules, Libra.
That's what we were talking about at the top.
Exactly. Venus and Libra. So all the babies being born between September 29th and October 23rd are going to be Venus and Libra, like Ingrid and Scott. So there's
You're a Venus and Libra too?
Yeah, I am.
I did not know this.
I know.
You have secrets.
I do. Well, I'm a Scorpio, so I usually don't offer things up unless I'm asked, but I felt like it might be appropriate to mention it now. So
well, how does that manifest in your life, the Venus and Libra? Because I don't see you having any eyelashes or nails, or
yeah,
you're definitely more right? Feel more like earthy and like natural to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe that's my Taurus rising. I think it manifests in my life that, well, my partner's a Libra. Yeah. So there's that.
You appreciate her, and she's very,
exactly.
She loves beautiful things. Your home is like very magical. It's very earthy, but very intentional, and you have a lot of special like pieces of like art and ceramics and furniture and just,
Yes. So I want beauty. I want harmony. I want peace. In relationships, I want relationship. I mean, you know that. Like, I don't want to get in a fight with you or anything. Like, I'm always trying to make the peace.
Yeah. Anytime we have a tiff, it's like in the end, it's just the exact lesson here. Anytime we have something that I've been like, I don't know what to do. As soon as I share it with Scott, he's like, dude, just tell me these things. And like in the end, we hug, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I can tell Scott anything, and he's gonna figure out how to like come to some sort of conclusion that makes everyone happy. Like, he loves balance and harmony.
Absolutely.
And he's also very good at helping everyone else get to that space of balance and harmony.
That's what I want, is peace between me and everyone I'm around. So, yes, thank you for seeing that, Ingrid. But Venus is here, back in the sign that it rules, from September 29th to October 23rd. The last time it was here was August 15th to September 10th, 2021. So think back to those dates, what was going on in your life, for clues on what could be in store this time around.
When something is, what would you call this? When Venus is in Libra, what do you call that?
It's in a position of power. It means that this is a time to really focus on relationships. We're being given the gift to really work on our relationships, to be the negotiator and the diplomat in our relationships. Hopefully everyone is finding a little more peace in their relationship between September 29th and October 23rd.
So since it's not technically like aligning with another planet, it's just existing, kind of like, well, it's not kind of like, I was going to say kind of like when there's like a full moon or whatever, but that is actually the sun and the moon aligning.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking, is this, when we have just these days like this, would that mean it's a good day to set intentions for our relationships, or
first
reflecting?
Of all, Venus is connecting with other planets right now. It's not at the exact same degree, but it's still being felt. But anytime a planet moves into a new sign, I love what you just said, it's a great time to set intentions. I would ask you, what are your intentions in your relationships? Your lovers, your friends, your business partners. What are your intentions? This is an opportunity for you to sit down at the table, to share what it is you are bringing, what it is you want in return, and then giving the other side the space to do the same, to share what they're offering and what they want in return. And this is a great time for making peace and creating balance and harmony in relationships through being graceful with one another. That's the whole focus of this. This is the opportunity to really communicate your likes and dislikes. What turns you on? What turns you off? This is what I want from a partner. This is what I'm looking for out of relationship. This is what I bring to the table. This is why I have value. Do you find that valuable? And then you go back and forth.
In the past couple of years, I have gathered a lot of regrets from what I have not done in my past relationships. And so all of this talk, just, we're moving into Libra season, so we just keep talking about this Libra energy of relationships and balance and harmony. And it is a really good time for just being more intentional. What have I done in the past that I did not like? And what do I want to do in the future? How do I want to be in relationship? And not, instead of living in the regret, actually taking those lessons and kind of taking stock of, what are all of the mistakes? What are the regrets that I have, so I can correct them, so I can be better, I can show up better to my relationships now.
So how can I be more graceful in my relationships? How can I be more fair to my partner?
And it's easy to think that we're doing it in the moment, but then when you look back, we're always growing and changing, and then our emotions kind of cloud our judgment, and we look back and be like, oh, I wish I would have just asked that question or shared that thing, even though it would have been uncomfortable. It's much better than, looking back now saying why didn't I do that? So taking advantage of these times to do some self-reflection and set some intentions for ourselves.
Yes, I love it. For those that were born with key astrological points or planets in Cancer or Capricorn, this could be a challenging time for relationships because Venus is going to square those points. And when a planet is squaring another planet, it can feel like a fight. So this is why you want to know where Venus is, what degree is it at, where is my planet in Capricorn? Ingrid, 13 degrees, Mars. So when Venus is at 13 degrees, or near to 13 degrees in Libra, there could be some conflicts or fights in relationships. But if that's coming up, it's just pay attention to the tension so that you can move through the energy that's stuck. So that is the focus, is really understanding, do I have planets that will be squaring Venus? When is that discomfort arising? Being aware of it, trying not to overreact to it.
Yeah, it's just about being more mindful.
Mm-hmm.
The more mindful we are, the better chance we have of being successful.
It's the weather. If it's, 100 plus degrees as it's been in LA over this last month, you don't want to walk outside wearing a overcoat and a scarf.
I literally have on like pajamas right now because I had on short. Like last week it was so fucking hot.
Yeah, I was like, what are you doing? You were wearing jeans last week.
Well, I don't know. I have bruises all over my legs from the scraping, the massage stuff I've been getting, and I don't know. It just feels like they're like my favorite. I like live in those pants. And the shorts I have are all really like tiny jean shorts, and they're just not really made for sitting. Okay.
Yeah.
They are my standing pants.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah,
So I had on
it's
my
not
shorts
comfortable.
today because it's been hot as fuck, and I was not trying to have a repeat of last week. And I put them on and I sat down and I was like, I can't be sitting in this for an hour. So now I have pajamas
This looks
on.
much more comfortable.
So this is pajama day because it's still hot in LA. But I'm definitely, I'm not having a meltdown it was just too much.
You couldn't even think last time.
Yeah.
Friday, September 30th. The sun in Libra, aligning in a sextile, very positive alignment with the moon, which is now transitioned onto Sagittarius, the mutable fire sign symbolized by the archer. And this is why we want to work through that energy when the moon is in Scorpio, because anything that's still festering once the moon moves into Sagittarius, the truth teller, that is when the truth comes out, and it may not feel very good when it's shared.
Yeah, I mean, it's about being direct. It's about like, there's like some go energy here.
The archer wants to hit its target, and so it might, boom, hit you right in the heart, and you're like, ugh.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, if we're practicing it, we're practicing being balanced before we've kind of gotten some of the stuff out. Now we can just be like, we're in the flow. We're just talking about shit. We're not going to be hurting each other's feelings because it is a trine, which
Sextile.
It is a sextile.
Yes. Here, Ingrid. Here's the book. Refresh.
But it is a positive alignment.
Yes, it is positive.
So yeah, if we've been practicing the stuff, it's going to be really easy.
Yeah, if you're practicing, like this is a nice alignment because it's graceful, but it's honest. We're being truthful, but peaceful at the same time.
And I want to say that even though it is a positive alignment, that doesn't necessarily mean if we haven't been doing the work, that doesn't mean someone's going to receive you well anyways. Even if you've done your work with being more graceful and now you're being really truthful and direct, it's like a harmonious like communication. That doesn't mean the other person has been doing any work and they still might be like, oh fuck, I don't like this.
Yeah.
So even though things seem like they're good, maybe it's just a good time for you to be expressing yourself and you feel good about it. Whatever happens with the other person doesn't necessarily matter. You can't control the world around you. All you can do is like be mindful about your own reactions to life, and whatever happens outside of that, you can only do so much. As long as you're communicating the most gracefully and direct way possible, like you've done your work.
Yes. So, yeah. Hopefully,
Oh God.
if somebody is triggering you in some way, that you will be able to remain peaceful. And now you're looking at Saturday.
Yeah, and then now there's an issue. There's a problem happening. This is what happens because yesterday you said it. You said all the
You
things.
said the thing, or you didn't say the thing, and now it's even more intense. I mean, who knows? It could go either way. But Saturday, October 1st, yeah. Okay, Venus has now moved on. It's now opposing Jupiter. So that's, again, honesty in relationships. This is similar to the alignment we saw on Monday, where Monday it was the Sun opposing Jupiter. Now it's Venus opposing Jupiter. So it's like we're hitting the same note again, but with a different instrument. You see how that goes?
Yeah.
It's like Monday's the Sun, and now it's Venus. So it's the same note, but it's a different instrument. Instead of that invigorating vitality and light, it's a little more smoother, it's a little softer, it's a little more peaceful, but it's still urging you to be authentic in your relationships. Now, authenticity and peace in relationships is a huge key for today, Saturday, October 1st, because there's this other alignment that I'm going to be highlighting every day as long as it's this way, which is going to be several days, because this is the crunch.
This Mercury retrograde stuff?
No.
What is it? Something retrograde. Oh, Jupiter retrograde.
No.
What is it?
It's the other two planets that we're looking at here. We're looking at Saturn. Saturn in Aquarius, which we talked about earlier in the week when it was in a trine with Jupiter.
And these are also retrograde.
They're both retrograde. There's a lot of planets that are retrograde right now.
Yeah, everything's retrograde right
there. We've got Mercury retrograde, Uranus, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Pluto. They're all retrograde. There's 6 planets that are retrograde right now.
So we're revisiting things that might have happened before.
There's a lot of stuff coming up. So this is the 3rd time. And I like to think of it as 3rd time's the charm. Because the first time we fell on our face. The second time we stumbled around, but we were able to stay up, but it wasn't smooth. This time, you got this. That's how I want to look at this in the positive way. So Uranus, the primordial sky god, the planet of revolution, rebellion, innovation, independence, and the unexpected, is retrograde in the fixed earth sign, Taurus, symbolized by the bull, squaring off with Saturn. There's a mythological connection between these two. In the Greek tradition, Uranus is the father of Kronos, who in the Roman myths is known as Saturn. Kronos castrated his father Uranus and threw the family jewels into the ocean, and that's where Aphrodite bubbled up, aka in the Roman myths is Venus, which is also a part of the scene here.
Yeah, this
so
is
this
quite a
is
scene.
A family squabble. This is the planet of restriction, Saturn, squaring off with the planet of rebellion, Uranus. Both Saturn and Uranus rule Aquarius, where Saturn is right now. But Uranus right now is in Taurus. So Uranus in Taurus is urging you to revolutionize your relationship with the material so that you can claim your financial independence. How are you making your money? Where are you spending your money? Is the way that you make your money and is where you spend your money in areas that you truly value, that truly honor your self-worth? Or is it less than what it should be? Only you can answer that question. I can't. It's up to me to answer that question for myself. But it's about being clear about what you value, what's important to me. Now, squaring off with Saturn in Aquarius, Saturn in Aquarius is the planet of restriction in the sign of community. Saturn has been in Aquarius since December of 2020. Has there been restriction in community since December of 2020? I'd say so, yeah. But this alignment between the two occurred, first time was February of 2021, second time was December of 2021, and this is the 3rd time and final time for another several years. So where are you feeling restricted in your community? Is there a feeling of rebellion within you with regards to the authority in community? Are your values being restricted in some way?
I mean, what I'm seeing is a lot of people are doing different things with the way they make money. Everyone's career has kind of shifted into a new direction, whether it's the same industry or not. I feel like there has been so much shifting. And because of feeling restricted, we are doing things in a new way. So maybe you've been trying to branch out, do something freelance, do something different, switch up the way you make money. And maybe you practice it the first time. You're like, oh, fuck, this is harder than I thought. This isn't going well. What am I doing? I better go back to my 9 to 5. You know, maybe there's a take 2 where you're like, okay, maybe I need to pick myself up because it is a lot of hard work to start your own business or, change the way we do things. And then even then it's like you practiced it, but it's still so hard. You stumble and fall again. And now you're like, okay, I really don't fucking like my old life. I don't like the way it was anyways. I have to really put my whole effort into making this work, showing up all the time. I'm going to do things differently because I value myself in this way. And I can't do things the way they've always been done in the past. So embracing your individuality and putting in the work and showing yourself that you're worth it.
Yes.
And even if you are feeling restricted, because we're all feeling restricted, you still have to value yourself and know that in the end, like, you can make it work.
Let's continue this conversation as we move into Sunday, October 2nd, because as we look Sunday, it's still there. Uranus squaring Saturn, but now we've got a few other planets involved here, different planets that we're highlighting. I look at it, astrology is like music. And so this is just the chord, the tone that is going to be played for several days now. Just the same dung, and then there's music on top of that. What is that music? But that is just going to be going with Uranus and Saturn. So independence and everything that you were talking about there. It's like doing something different, doing something that's maybe not accepted or valued by the community, but it's valued by you. Okay, this group doesn't like what I do, but
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is maybe the community you're in is not the right community for you. So it's going to be uncomfortable when you do something different. But when you actually embrace who you are and you do things in a different way, you're going to call in a new community that's going to appreciate that.
Yes. I love that. That's it. Right there. Brilliant. So it might be shaking you out of your community, but if you hold on
it will shake you in.
It'll shake you into the right community
Yeah.
if you're truly honoring your self-worth and what you value. So on Sunday, we've got a couple other planets that we're looking at here. First of all, there's the sun squaring the moon. So you look up in the sky, and I should have said this back on Friday. You look up in the sky Friday during the day, and in the early evening into the night, the moon's going to be a nice crescent shape. That's the sextile. On Sunday, you look into the sky, and it's the half moon.
No.
Which means conflict, because it's half light and half shadow.
But even though that's uncomfortable, it's like we know what's coming. It's going to be weird to shift things to a new direction. Maybe the people in our community don't really like what we're doing, and we have to meet new people. Literally today, I just met with my neighbor. He's in the podcast world, and I'm like, I need to do more creative stuff. Like the beginning of this year was amazing. I was on a roll. I did all these commercials. I was feeling so good. This summer fucking sucks. I mean, it doesn't suck, but I'm like, I need the balance of doing more creative things. I want to do more branding, recording, other people's podcasts, decks, editing work, whatever it is. I'm like, I need more of that. I'm like, invite me to anything. Like it was definitely out of my comfort zone to be like, hi, I need friends. I need networking opportunities. Like I go to the club. Bitch, I ain't going to meet nobody there. It's just the conversation is not the same. The girls that work there, I have a lot of fun there with these girls, but most of those girls, I've met one girl that's really in the creative industry, working in Hollywood in a film studio. I'm like, these are not the people I'm surrounded with. So I'm like, I have to go find them. How the fuck do I find them? I don't know. I figured, I guess I'm going to start, meeting friends on Instagram. A lot of the women that follow the podcast, I've made long distance relationships with
eyelashes?
These people. I mean, I'm meeting with Epiphany with Tiffany.
Okay,
I'm meeting with her on Friday to have dinner.
Amazing.
I know, I'm so excited. I'm like, I have to cultivate these people and
Nicole
ask.
did your eyelashes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's from Instagram too. Yeah, Nicole Ambrose did my eyelashes. Thank you.
Yes.
And meeting, people in my community. My neighbor, I'm like, hey, let's do something together. I'm going to his wife. His wife is a dancer, a professional dancer. So I'm going to one of her shows tonight.
Amazing.
And even though I honestly didn't really want to go, because unless I already know that I'm going to love it. My friend also invited me to a concert this weekend. I'm like, no, can't go unless it's my favorite band. I'm not fucking going. just too many people for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So even the thing today, I'm like, I don't even know if I'll like it. Like the people, the show, I don't even know what's happening. But instead I was like, you know what? If I want to meet new people, I have to do new things. And I think they have a really nice community of friends and they're always doing cool shit. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go.
Well, I applaud you, Ingrid, because, I mean, this is your North Node's in the 11th house. That's associated with the 11th sign, which is Aquarius, which is the community. So putting yourself out there, engaging in group activities.
And that's also uncomfortable, though. I'm just like...
Totally. But you're not going to be happy being the queen, just sitting in your throne on the top of the tower by yourself. You're not going to be.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I'm scheduling the things. I'm asking for the things that I say that I want. But if I want to get to the goal, the in-between, doesn't mean it's going to be easy for me to be like, hey, do you want to be friends? Do you want to go to lunch? Like, it's really almost like dating when you're trying to make new friends.
Yes.
Like, I don't have... Not that my community sucks. I have a very supportive community. But nobody in my community is on the level where I would like to be able to like mentor me or shape me or give me advice. I'm just like, we're all like, what are we doing? I'm like, okay, we need to bring more people into our circle that are like, oh, you can do something like this or something like that. It's like, how are we going to grow if we don't grow our community? Like we are the 5-10 people that we surround ourselves with.
You got to broaden your spectrum.
Yeah. So
that's it.
Yeah. I'm putting myself out there.
And you also said, like, you know, you were really fired up to be in the year. I want to remind you and everyone listening, like we're in the last quarter. So how are you going to close out 2022? You know, and looking at the sun in Libra and the moon in Capricorn on Sunday, October 2nd, squaring off with each other. It's cardinal air squaring off with cardinal earth. This is taking a hard look at how are my relationships helping me achieve my goals and aspirations in a way that satisfies my emotions.
It's so interesting because I do get something out of dancing, but just another example, this makeup artist that I had hired that helped me on something else, I got to hire him for the Honda shoot. I met his husband. He does like brows and like has a whole beauty thing. He posted it online. Oh, I can't figure out how to like change my hex colors to Pantone colors. They wanted to, I think, design like a new makeup line or something. And I just wrote him, which I don't really know him. I met him once, but I was like, if you need help, I love helping people. Like I used to work in an art department, changing all of the colors to match the licensing approved Pantone colors for their companies. And he was like, oh my gosh, yes, please help me. So I'm like, it doesn't even necessarily need to be for money, but like to be involved in the community, doing things that I love, like anything in the design world, illustrating, whatever, like Photoshop stuff. I'm like, I love helping people. Helping people makes me feel good. And I don't even remember how that correlated to what you just said. I don't remember what you just said. I just got really excited.
I was talking about career and the relationships that are helping you achieve your goals. And, you know, I think for you, like dancing is your job. That's not your career. Like working at the club is your job. But your career is doing something that's more creative.
Yeah. So, well, I guess, okay, this is what I was going to tie in. You know, they both work in the makeup world, but they're always going to photo shoots. They're always like, they're in the production world. So I'm like, oh, I'll just offer my services to these makeup people. That doesn't really have to do with what I'm doing, but it also does.
Yes.
It's like, it's a career opportunity to just be making friends with people. It's like in LA, especially, it is all who you know.
Right.
Like, I know that I'm talented, but I don't fucking know anybody. So it's like the more people I know, the more opportunity I'm going to have to get more work.
Exactly.
So just expanding my friend circle, expanding my community, expanding my network of possible career opportunities, really.
Yes.
And that fulfills me emotionally. Like, I like doing that stuff.
Good. I encourage you. I'm excited for you. Because people like you, Ingrid. I don't know why, but people like you. So it shouldn't be hard for you to make friends.
I mean, I think it just means I have to put myself out there.
Yes. Be courageous. North Node in Aries. Put yourself out there. Show your face. You've been showing your face on Instagram. I applaud you for that as well. So now the final planet that we're talking about here on Sunday, October 2nd is Mercury in Virgo, which means Mercury Retrograde is over. But this, and undoubtedly with these two other squares here, it looks like a crunchy day when Mercury ends its retrograde. It doesn't just flip back and start moving at its normal pace like it always did. Mercury typically moves 1 to 2 degrees a day. And Mercury is here at 24 degrees. I mean, it's here for 10 days.
Oh,
It's got another, I mean, it's already been there for 10 days. Let's see, it moved there on September 29th. So it's been at 24 degrees since September 29th. It doesn't move to 25 degrees until October 5th.
Shit.
So
Shit.
things are stuck. Continue to just slow down, take your time, give yourself extra time to get to where you need to go. Give yourself extra time to articulate your thoughts before you spit them out of your mouth. And Mercury moves out of its retrograde shadow on October 16th. So by the time we get to October 16th, hopefully you've completed all the goals or some of the goals that you set, which we mentioned on this show back when Mercury moved into its retrograde shadow on August 20th, and then when the retrograde began on September 9th, with relationships, career, daily routine, health, diet, job. Those are the themes of this Mercury retrograde. Mercury is back where it was on August 20th. So just think about that for a second. It's October 2nd, and Mercury is in the same place where it was on August 20th. So what does today have to do with August 20th? What's the connection for you?
I mean, for me, there was kind of a revolution of realizing that there's all these lingering things that I haven't been able to get to for like basically the whole year. I've been working on them here, working on them there. Then I'm getting caught up with all the production stuff and then coming back into it and just feeling like I can't quite finish these projects.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think around then I was like, okay, we need to finish doing a bunch of podcast stuff. All these things have been on our list, and I want to do what I can to get them out of our hair because they were mostly like on my plate.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm just like, okay, I need to finish what I have so I can give it to you so then we can move to the next level. So I really feel like this whole last month been really working hard on crossing things off of the list so we can move forward and not have them on our plate anymore. Mm-hmm. And you were like, don't take on any new projects. You know, it's retrograde. And I was like, okay, these are the things that have been lingering that I don't want to look at anymore. Mm-hmm. And I don't certainly want them on my plate when we move into this next season. I want to start with a clean slate.
Yes.
So I think for sure all of these things are really being wrapped up, and hopefully we'll be, out of our hair. We can move on to like new fun projects where we have that fresh energy. It's like we're at the finish line here. And that's like the hardest part, to just be like, okay, we're at the very end.
Totally.
Like this is the last couple of steps when you're just exhausted, but like I'm feeling like a little bit of excitement, that last little push to be like, I see the finish line. Yes. It's right fucking there.
So hopefully by the time we get to October 16th, we've crossed over the finish line, the plate is clear, and we're ready to go back to the buffet and fill up with more food.
I know. I'm already like seeing what's at the buffet, and I'm like, okay, don't fucking touch anything.
Don't get distracted over there.
Yeah, for real. Seriously, because it is very exciting. Of course, I'd rather do something fresh and new that I just have like a new life force and put all these things on the back burner. And then I'll have fucking 50 things on my plate that aren't finished. So I'm like, okay, write it down, put it for the future so I can, clear the plate.
Yes. Whew, what a week. That's that, Ingrid. Yeah, do we have questions or anything, or?
No, we had a pretty long intro.
Okay, cool.
And we kind of also like incorporated the question of, how
who taught me how to do astrology?
Yeah.
Nobody. Just me.
The celebrities
the
did.
Celebrities did. Yeah, I thank astro.com for their wealth of information with all those charts there. And I thank Time Passages, the app, for...
Yeah, Time Passages is one of my favorite things.
That helped me a lot.
You can collect all of the people...
Everyone.
Like, every once in a while, like my best friend, I'd be like, oh, I know her sun, moon, and rising sign. But other than that, like, I can't remember shit.
Yeah.
Anytime someone has a question for me, I open my app. It saves everyone's charts, which is amazing. And it just tells you the breakdown. You don't have to read astrology, but it'll just be like, oh, Venus and Libra, all the shit, blah, blah, blah. So you can just get at least the the general overlook when someone's having an
Yeah.
issue. You can see what their birth chart is, and then you can see what transits are happening that day.
When I
So
first started
love
doing
that.
readings, that's what I would do. I'd just open up the app and say Venus and Libra, and I would just read verbatim what it said in the app.
Oh my God, I love this. This is too
Or
funny.
I had like a couple books, that were like, and I just read what was in there, and yeah, and then eventually I just learned came up with my own vocabulary.
Yeah.
That's what happens. It's like if you're learning to play a musical instrument, you don't sit down and play your own songs. You learn how to play other songs.
Yeah,
And then
totally.
eventually you learn how to create your own music. And that's what I've done now. And that's what this is right here, the basics of astrology. Thanks to Ingrid and Chris helping me with that.
Yeah, we birthed your baby into the world.
Yes, you were my midwife.
I love this. I've always wanted to be a midwife.
Yeah.
I'm the midwife to the basics of astrology.
Yes, you are.
So if you don't have the book, go buy the fucking book because they're beautiful, they're helpful, and yeah, we will see you all next week.
See you next week.
Thank you for listening to the Weekly Transit. Follow us on Instagram for daily updates about the planetary alignments and how to work with the energy. If this podcast is helping you navigate life more gracefully, please subscribe, rate us 5 stars, and share with your friends. If you're ready to go deeper, book a personal reading with Scott or sign up for his new moon, full moon class at theweeklytransit.com.
The weekly transit.